The next item on the agenda is a discussion on term limits. City Manager Montgomery will provide background information.
Good evening, Mayor and residents in attendance. The item on, for discussion at this time, which was initiated by the City Council, Mayor Moran and Vice Mayor Bennett, asked to bring to the discussion to the meeting an opportunity to hear from the public on the topic of term limits. I think it's important to frame how our City Council is elected currently. Beginning in 2017, the city went from at-large elections where all council members were elected by all representatives in the city. We went to a district election whereby the city was broken up essentially into 5 separate districts of equal population. Those districts have been redrawn as required by the law, but it's also important just to know that through elections that occur every 2 years, the city council has an opportunity to run for an additional term and face opposition. As it stands, there are no term limits. Therefore, a council member could successfully run for multiple campaigns. What's being discussed when we talk about term limits would be a restriction that would prohibit a council member from running more than a defined number of terms. I think it's important to point out that term limit restriction would not be retroactive. It would be prospective. So to explain it, if there were a city that went for a term limit, it would then start from when that was enacted moving forward. So it wouldn't stop anyone who's currently a council member for then now running based on whatever the new term limit. So it's just important that we know that every 2 years, the public has an opportunity to vote if it's their district's term to vote. In this case, we'll have 2 districts up for an election. And then in the following 2 years, 2026, we'll have another 3 council districts up. So just wanted to frame it as we open up the discussion.
Thank you, David. Joey, to speak on that. Yes, we have approximately.
What many people in the audience have stated, term limits just don't work. We've seen it in state government for sure. We're a small city. And there's a lot of experience now up here. And I mean, personally, I've served on a lot of committees, I attend a lot of water meetings, and all for the benefit, hopefully, of my family and the residents of Shenandoah. If someone wants to run against me, run against me. It's fine. Yes, I do have name recognition because I've done a lot of things in this city. I attend hundreds of meetings. Does it make me a bad person or a good person? That'll be up to the voters to decide what my performance is. So Jimmy, thank you, by the way, for agreeing to vote for me again. I appreciate that. But I'm against term limits, especially at the city level. We've seen how it works in the state. And Congress, that's a whole different issue. That's something that that's another debate point. But I don't think I need to drag this out too much longer. Other than I'll state what Ray has said and what Cynthia said to the group when she was asked to visit. I'm against term limits. If you wish to get it on the ballot, then that's awesome. Go for it.
Thank you, Peter.
I simply said for years that we have term limits. It's called a ballot box. If you don't like the job that someone's doing, vote them out of office. Now, sure, there is benefit to the longevity, to name identification, and being able to collect some contributions to run a campaign. But here's the thing that is most important. Every one of us that sat up here brought experience to the table before we ran for city council. I spent 14 years on the planning commission. I was Gary Larson's appointee on the planning commission. When this city was building up and developing, I was involved in an intimate relationship with everything that was going on as far as the development of this city that has made it the city that we all love to call home today. So I had qualifications. My exposure to the city council and to council meetings, which I attended religiously, gave me experience about what's going on and what it takes to run a city. People that just decide at a lark that they're going to run on some just nebulous, we want tree Wi-Fi, we want to eliminate dry vegetation, what's that all about? When you have absolutely no benefit and no experience to bring, how can you expect to replace someone who has experience and knows how to spend your dollars and take care of your issues on your behalf? So I think the idea that, I guess I want to say that you almost have to earn the right. Everybody has a right to vote and to run for an office, but at least bring some qualifications. just because you're a nice person and you think it'd be a nice thing, people think, oh yeah, you guys attend 2 meetings a month. There's 35 different committees out there that the 5 of us attend on a monthly basis, sometimes a couple times a month, to represent the city. People don't think of that. We've been here since 3 o'clock today. Had a couple hours on a workshop for a development that's coming up. How many people were here at that time? Do you think that we love doing that? Well, we do love it because the city is our baby. Every one of us love this city, and we love what it represents, and we love to call it home. And we try to protect all of our residents, and regardless of the position that some people may feel sometimes about what we are or aren't doing, there's reasons for it, because we have to put personal feelings aside and make judgment and decisions based upon what is in the overall interest of the city. The city comes first. And luckily, when we spend several years on this dais and we go through all of the agendas that are sometimes 1,000 pages long, hearings that go to midnight, just all of the meetings we go with the different entities that we attend, those give us experience that make us qualified to serve you well. You bounce us out on an automatic term limit, and what you're going to get is a novice that doesn't know any of the stuff coming in. How can they serve you? Do you really want somebody to do that? If you decide that you want to go to a mechanic, you've got to trust the mechanic. You're going to go to somebody that doesn't even have a toolkit, and it's going to says, "Well, yeah, I can fix that." I mean, we can make a lot of ridiculous examples, but the reality is, this council doesn't believe in term limits on a number of terms, because if you want us to run, let us know, okay? And truthfully, I'll tell you this, here's a fact that I'll put on the record. Okay, if you vote in term limits this year and I get a 12-year term limit, I'm gonna tell you what, I won't fill them. I won't take 12 more years. But at my age, you think I'm going to run 12 more years? I'm going to run one more term. Be put on the record at that right now. I'm running one more term because I want to be mayor in December of this year, one more time to serve the city and represent the city out there in the public, and hopefully be a well-rounded, well-versed, professional representative of each and every one of you. So we can determine our own term limits, but you have the vote. If you don't like us, if we're doing something wrong, and recall us or vote us out of office. So I'll get down off my soapbox. But this is just a bad idea on many, many levels. And we are not going to put something, I'm not going to vote to put this on the ballot to help out a group that is trying to basically recall all of us and get us out of office. That's what it's all, the motivation is. So I've said enough.
I've been thinking about this, and it really just, Chino Hill strikes me as a solution in search of a problem. We've had one council member voted out throughout that time. To Gary's point, we've had to cancel elections because people don't step up. This truly is going to take away choices from the voters, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to arbitrarily say, you get your 12 years, out the door you go. The voters have the choice. The voters have the choice every 4 years. I'm going to trust the voters. We have, surrounding cities. I think Chino had a couple of times voted out. They don't have term limits. There is always there's always a chance that an incumbent will lose, and the voters get to make that choice. So, yeah, I'm for it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Appreciate that. I did meet with John Blanchard, so thank you for inviting me. Totally appreciate that. I did express to them that I wasn't in support of term limits. For what they want to do, I commend you. If you really feel that term limits, you'd like to see it, there's a way to get there. I know back in '84 when Richard Chino Rose, I couldn't just get the area, which was not a city at that time. We started talking to city.
Yeah, well, they're not missing it. They're taking.
There's a few people that let the voters decide. It has nothing to do with taking their job. We started talking about it.
Exactly.
Was it an easy task? No, it wasn't. It was difficult. We had to tell them the pavement, we had to talk to people, we had to raise money, we had to get signatures, and then we did a vote of people, and guess what? We became a city the very first time. And Gary, thank you for your leadership on that. I don't mean to be embarrassing, but you are here. So, but you know what I'm talking about. My experience was on the very first planning commission. You put me on that for 2 years. And then 12 years I was on the Parks and Rec Commission. I got elected to the fire board in 07 for 7 years. And I love my city. I have 3 grown kids and I have 5 grandkids. And I want my grandkids to grow up in Sherwood Hills. So I'm very passionate about the city. When I got elected, I remember my first meeting being elected. At that time, there were people that used to wear shirts. They weren't happy with some.
That's not true.
So then I usually approached them. Kim Denton.
Out of 70,000 people, there's nobody qualified?
Wrestling over people, no kill people, carbon paying truck restriction, power lines.
Maybe that's a benefit.
Issues that when we first, simply myself, came into.
I know, you were ready to let it go
We saw an opportunity.
a month and a half, 2 months ago.
This community, we wanted to do something about it. And we as a council.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you.
Peter Rogers, thank you for all your hard work and council. Truly appreciate that. That was.
No, you don't need to keep it shut. It's just that your stance is predictable.
On 2,450 acres. We found out about that. That information wasn't given to us. We actually had to find it. I remember talking to Gary Larson way back then, and we were talking about the reservoir park was reservoir for the city's industry. But Peter and myself picked, we found out about what they were going to do in Customers. And we, as a city, did not want that. And we tried to do something in a positive manner. And we did. City of Industries now joined Powers Association with us. We're part owners of Trestle Miles, the City of Industry, also the City of Diamond Park. So when we have problems and issues, we as a council, there we go, thank you. We as a council always try to make the city better. My last time, matter of fact, I was opposed on districts, but you know what, I was happy that when we became districts. Because what I looked at it, if I wasn't doing my job, for the general public, it would be easier to get me out. Because it's a smaller demographic, you don't need a whole lot of votes to win a district. And last time I had actually 4 people run against me. And you know what made me feel good about it? Is I got over 73% of the total votes the night of the election. So that's telling me that you think I'm doing a good job. And I can look at my constituents, my council members, and they, you know what, they do probably a better job than I do. But all I'm saying is that we care about this community. And all I'm saying, John, Dwayne, or your group, if you truly want to do term limits, you can do it. There's going to be some hard work, and you just have to beat the streets. And and I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but this council truly cares about this community. And all I'm saying, I'm against it. As a council member, just like Peter Rogers said, he's on a lot of committees. I'm on a lot of committees too. I'm actually going to be president of the San Diego County Transportation Authority. It takes a long time to get to that position.
Transportation Authority, that's what he's going to be president of.
I've been working, as a matter of fact, in Riverside County to connect the 71 freeway from San Diego County line to the 91. Because of our leadership here at the council level, we actually got the flyover lane, which they took out already 10 years ago. That will be completed by next year. And it's because we care and we make a difference in the region. RCTC in Riverside County, they really don't want to listen to San Diego County, but because the committees that we're all involved in, we formed a relationship. They help us, we help them. So there's a lot of things when we get involved, such as League of Cities for me, I'm on the board of directors. That's 482 cities throughout California that are part of League of Cities. I'm on the board of directors on that organization. I'm the president of the Latino Caucus for League of Cities. I was the league division for the Inland Empire. The last 2 years, I was the immediate past president. All I'm saying that we as a council are committed to the city. The reason that we get involved outside is for the people of Chino Hills, because we want to make it better. We want to have the capabilities that when we talk about subject matter throughout the state of California, that we actually have people supporting us. So all I'm saying, John Brewer, your group, I wish you the very best. Um, when it's on my ballot, if you guys get it to that ballot, I'll be voting no. But I commend you for trying to do this, and I just wish you the best of luck. But as my vote, it will be a no vote.
Thank you, Ray. Just briefly, I'll follow up, echo what my colleagues, I'm also not in support of term limits, that the term limiters already know that, because thank you also for inviting me to your meeting. I was happy to attend. I was happy to give you background about my leadership journey. Mine is a little bit different from the gentleman up here. I'm kind of the lone gal because I didn't have any political experience, but I wanted to learn. And prior to that, I took leadership roles. I took different leadership roles outside of elected positions with other organizations. And that's what it comes down to. So when people say that they can't run or they can't raise money, I don't buy into that, because when I ran in 2012, I had zero money. I wasn't going to put my family into financial debt to run. So I got $100 from my mom or $200 from someone else, and I walked precincts and I raised money. I had fundraisers. And I contacted people that didn't even live in the city but knew what kind of person I was, and they wanted to support me being a leader where I lived. So if you want to run, you can raise money. And yeah, I have name recognition now, but I didn't in 2012. And as far as our passion and our time, I'm coming up on my 12th year. It seems like yesterday. And to Ray's point, we gain this institutional knowledge to be able to represent you at different levels of at the state and in the region that take time to build those relationships like all my colleagues have here. So to whoever was the point about like losing the passion, I feel like I just got elected. I'm still learning. I want to learn. I love representing you, and I feel like I barely scratched the surface. And it's for that reason that I am against term limits, for all the other reasons that were said tonight. So I want to thank everyone that spoke for both sides. But gentlemen, what's before us this evening was a term limits discussion, which I thought was a great discussion. We got to hear both sides. We got to hear from up here, but my understanding from the consensus I'm hearing is that there will be nothing to push forward. And to the term limit group, I want to let them know that you don't need our permission, so you can do what you need to do to get this on the ballot. If of all the things that you want to spend your time and resources for in our city, if that's where you want to put your time and resources in, of all the things that you could do in our city, if it's term limits, then that's your right to do that, and you can try to get it on the ballot. So with that, Cheryl, what next do we have on the agenda?
The next item is a public hearing item, and it's to adopt a resolution amending resolution